What if an entire city didn't stand still? What if buildings were no longer fixed to the ground, but could move, float, and adapt to the forces of nature? What if tsunamis, rising oceans, and earthquakes were no longer existential threats, but challenges that architecture could respond to in real time? This is not a concept from a science fiction movie. This is not a distant future. Japan is already building floating islands that rise with the ocean, shift their position, and adapt to seismic activity as it happens. While most countries are desperately trying to protect their coastlines with walls, barriers, and temporary solutions, Japan is taking a radically different approach. Instead of fighting the water, Japan is building cities on top of it. And what you're about to see could redefine how humans live on Earth forever. Why Japan is forced to build on water. Japan is not building floating cities because it sounds futuristic or impressive. It is building them because it has no other option. Japan is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, yet more than 70% of its land is mountainous and unsuitable for large-scale urban development. Cities are forced to grow in narrow coastal zones, placing millions of people directly in the path of natural disasters. Earthquakes strike regularly. Tsunamis arrive without warning. Typhoons batter the coastline year after year. At the same time, global sea levels are rising, slowly but relentlessly. Every year, Japan loses usable coastal land. Flooding becomes more frequent. Traditional infrastructure becomes more expensive to maintain and more vulnerable to failure. For Japan, expanding outward is no longer sustainable. Expanding upward has limits. So engineers began looking in a direction most countries had long ignored, toward the ocean. Instead of trying to conquer nature, Japan chose to adapt to it. Floating architecture is often misunderstood. It is not a houseboat, it is not a ship, and it is not a temporary solution. It represents an entirely new category of engineering. These structures are built on massive floating foundations, often made of reinforced concrete and advanced composite materials. They are anchored to the seabed, but not rigidly fixed to it. This crucial difference allows the entire structure to move vertically with waves, tides, and changing sea levels. When the ocean rises, the structure rises with it. When waves pass beneath it, the structure absorbs the motion instead of resisting it. During earthquakes, seismic energy travels differently through water than through solid ground. Flexible floating foundations dissipate this energy, dramatically reducing structural stress. In many cases, floating buildings experience less damage than traditional buildings on land. Instead of cracking and collapsing, they adapt, bend, and survive. Real floating projects already built in Japan. This technology is not experimental. Japan is already using floating infrastructure every single day. Parts of ports, industrial facilities, and airport extensions are built on floating or semi-floating foundations. These structures are designed to continue operating even during powerful seismic events. Japan has also developed floating emergency facilities, including disaster response centers and mobile hospitals. If an earthquake or tsunami destroys surrounding land-based infrastructure, these floating systems remain functional. They can provide medical care, power generation, and emergency coordination when it is needed most. Engineers are now expanding these ideas into floating residential complexes, research laboratories, logistics hubs, and energy platforms. Each project pushes the limits of what floating architecture can support, and each one brings Japan closer to fully functional floating cities. Moving islands, can they really move? Some of the most advanced floating platforms being tested in Japan are designed to do more than simply float. They are designed to move. Using sophisticated anchoring systems, dynamic positioning technology, and underwater sensors, these platforms can slowly reposition themselves. They can rotate to reduce the impact of incoming waves. They can adjust their orientation to maximize sunlight exposure for solar energy. They can even shift location to avoid storms or dangerous ocean conditions. Future designs may allow entire platforms to disconnect and relocate completely. In these concepts, cities are no longer tied to a single geographic point. They become adaptive systems that respond intelligently to their environment. The technology that makes it possible. Floating cities rely on some of the most advanced engineering systems Japan has ever created. Thousands of sensors are embedded throughout the structure, from the foundation to the highest buildings. They constantly measure wave height, ocean currents, wind forces, structural tension, and seismic vibrations. All of this data is analyzed in real time by artificial intelligence systems. If dangerous conditions are detected, the platform automatically adjusts anchor tension, redistributes weight, and modifies internal systems to maintain stability. Buildings are no longer passive objects. They become responsive, intelligent systems designed to survive extreme environments. Energy, water, and self-sufficiency. A floating city cannot rely on the mainland. It must be completely self-sufficient. Japanese designs integrate solar panels directly into rooftops, facades, and horizontal surfaces. Wind turbines are built into the structure itself. Some platforms use ocean thermal energy, generating electricity from temperature differences between surface water and deep ocean water. Advanced desalination systems convert seawater into fresh drinking water. Rainwater is collected, filtered, and reused. Waste is carefully processed to minimize environmental impact. Some concepts even include floating farms, aquaculture zones, and vertical gardens that produce food directly on the platform. These are not just buildings, they are fully functioning ecosystems. Could entire cities float in the future? According to Japanese researchers, this is only the beginning. Concept designs already exist for massive floating cities capable of housing tens of thousands of people. These cities would include residential areas, offices, factories, transportation networks, parks, and public spaces. Autonomous boats, drones, and underwater tunnels would connect different sections. As climate change accelerates and coastal regions around the world become increasingly vulnerable, what Japan is building today may soon become a global necessity. Floating cities may be one of the safest ways to live near the ocean. The ocean as the next continent. For centuries, humanity expanded across land. Now, land is running out. Japan is offering the world a new direction. Floating architecture is not just about survival. It is about redefining how civilization lives, moves, and adapts to a changing planet. The island that moves is no longer science fiction. It is becoming reality, and Japan is already building it. Write your opinions in the comments. Will humanity be able to subjugate nature or not?